My daughter just tried to run outside in the rain, and then.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started, guys. I made some slides because my name is Mary Carolyn, and if I don't, I won't stay on task. Yeah, Andrea's shaking her head. That's life with ADD. So I'm gonna share my screen with you, but we're just going to talk a little bit about social media do's and don'ts. And I really want to start by saying, like, some of the things that I'm going to talk about, you might be like, oh my gosh, I do those. Well, first of all, like, I'm going to show you some examples of things that I did. And I don't know, maybe later Alicia can show you, like, every now and then whenever I go to my time hop, I see things, and I've only been a coach for like a little over 2 years. So it's not like I've been coaching as long as Alicia. But like whenever you first get started coaching and you know how things change, some of my posts from the past were really bad. So I found some that I'm going to share. Can you guys see my screen? Someone unmute and tell me. Yeah, you can. Okay, perfect. Hold on one second. Can get to start. Okay, it's okay. I'll just show you this way. So we're going to talk about things to do and things to not do. And if you have questions as we go, I want you to just unmute yourself and ask. But first I want to talk about like the things not to do. I only want to focus on that for like a few minutes and then go more into things that we should do. So some things that like really turn me off on social media. First of all, there's so many MLMs. There's so many people with their side hustles, and on one hand, that's absolutely amazing. There's so many people who, you know, do health and fitness things and makeup things and smell good things. I don't know. There's a ton of stuff out there, but unfortunately, sometimes what it does, the wrong people give all of us, you know, no matter what company we're with, a bad name because they can come off really salesy. Everyone, I'm sure, has like that one person on their social media or a few people who you see their posts and it just like turns you off. It makes you feel really icky. So my biggest thing is I hate feeling like I'm being sold to. I hate when people are like pushing a product on me. So one of the ways that I feel like I'm being sold to most is when people use stock images. So things that, you know, are straight from Beachbody. And I've seen it a few times recently with like Lift 4, you know, and I think there's some ways to put stock images out there. And if it's something that you maybe do not very frequently, every once in a while, that is one thing. But you see coaches, I'm sure you see people from other MLMs who are just constantly throwing like these stock images up there. And as soon as you see it, you know that you're being sold to. So that's one thing that I would really try to stay away from. Every once in a while on your stories is one thing, but I would just really try to use your own pictures of yourself, of your own stuff, whatever. Something that also really turns me off, when I first started coaching, you know, we were told to post 3 to 5 times a day, and that's a lot. Now we more or less try to say 2 to 3 times a day, but to really focus on the quality of your posts. Make sure that you have something good to say, something that is going to add value to someone's life, and with a good picture. You don't want to just like post to post just because. Every post that you make, you want to add value, because if you don't, you know, if you're posting 6, 7, 8 times a day about things that maybe aren't interesting or maybe aren't adding value, people are going to start picking up on that. Like, I hate to say it, but they're going to see your name and they're just going to scroll right past you. You want to have the effect of they see, you know, Stacy's profile picture come up, you know, on the side where, you know, they see your post and they want to see, oh, Stacy made a post. Like, I need to stop and read this. That's, you know, that's what we're trying to do. Sorry, Stacy, you're like right in my view, so I can like see you. So that's like, that is our biggest goal. And then obviously, like, we don't want to like copy and paste from other people. And I know that, like, you know, we were just talking about that post that kind of went like crazy, almost viral for a lot of us, in regards to be mindset. And when we talked about it back then, you know, we all said every once in a while, those posts are okay if it's not the norm for you. But if your customer base starts to like expect those posts from you instead of participating and commenting on them, they're going to run away because it just, again, it looks really salesy. So I had told you enough about like what not to do. I want to spend more time talking about what to do. So whenever I first started, and still sometimes to this day, I struggle with talking too much about coaching, and not about the rest of my life. First of all, my life isn't crazy exciting. Maybe we all feel like our life isn't crazy exciting, but you know, it's just me and my husband and our dogs, and I don't really do anything else. So sometimes I'm like, man, I have nothing to post about. So what I want you to do, it'd be kind of cool if you would even like drop them in the chat bar so that we can like talk about them a little bit. And some of you who've been around for a little while have already done this, but what I really recommend folks doing is thinking of 5 things that you talk about a lot, 5 things that you really enjoy. When you're like talking to your best friends, what are your most talked about things? For me, like, I am always like, oh my God, you know, people are going to think that I talk about my dogs too much, like in everyday conversation. So of course, you know, I love my dogs and my babies. That's something that I talk about a lot. Once you have these 5 things, for a lot of you who are moms, one of the things is going to be your kids. That's an easy one. One of everyone's things is going to be health and fitness. There's another easy one. So if you have a hobby, like Alicia is really into like DIY stuff, whether it's her cakes or her whatever, you know, just the different cooking that she does, rigging her lawnmower. Like, I don't know, she's just real into do-it-yourself stuff. So just think of those things and then drop them in the chat bar. Just fun to kind of bounce ideas, but you want it to be something that you can talk about consistently. And those are the main things that you're going to talk about. So on days when you're like, man, I have nothing to post about, I have nothing to talk about, you want to go back to that list, and hopefully that list is something that's going to inspire you. So my things, I talk a lot about being a housewife in training, and the fact that like I can't cook, but I'm really trying. So sometimes I share my flops in cooking. Sometimes I share like, okay, I'm like maybe actually getting a hang of this housewife thing. So that's kind of one of mine. I talk about Chris a lot, you know, in there too. I talk about being a dog mom. I talk a lot about coffee mugs and just coffee in general. I talk about loving food and loving health. I talk a lot about that, like, I'll never give up carbs, and I love French fries and pizza. And then obviously like coaching is one of my big things. So in those posts, that's really going to help you add value to your audience. The people who relate to you most are going to have those things in common. You know, a lot of Alicia's folks are other moms with, you know, crazy houses just like hers. I want to look at this chat bar to see what all you guys are saying. Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Yeah, Alicia's hair. I know there was like a time, Alicia's hair has been like normal colors now for a little while, but like people would literally like comment on her wall like, hey, like I'm excited to see what color your hair is next week. Like she's always changing it. So that's that in terms of what we're posting. So I want to talk a little bit about like my top tips to make those posts like awesome. I'm not talking about content, but now I kind of want to talk more about like your actual post. So right now, something that's really, really big is clear pictures. And I can't like emphasize that enough with Instagram, especially. Facebook too, but Instagram, those people are even more like fickle in terms of you want like a crystal clear picture with good lighting. So maybe you live in an area, you know, your house is kind of dark. You don't have a ton of windows or whatever, especially now, like go outside. If you look at my Instagram, most of my latest pictures, I, you know, take outside. I always do that if I can, just because the lighting's better and that's going to give you a better picture. If it's, you know, you're not able to go outside, there's different lights that you can buy. Yes, you can buy a Diva ring light for over like $100 on Amazon. I don't have one of those, but I do have this, and the battery's dead. I really wish that I would have charged it, but I didn't. This little thing, it hooks on to the back of your phone, and it makes the biggest difference. Does anyone have one right now on this call? Okay, turn yours on.
Up to it.
What?
Is the little thing that's the back of your phone that like props it up and helps with lighting.
Yeah.
You're talking about?
Yeah. Stacy, turn that like towards your face so they can see what a difference it makes. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see on here, but like with your phone, it makes like a crazy, crazy, crazy difference, and it makes your pictures so much more clear. I also just like go to a window. So instead of taking a picture, like you can see this window right behind me, instead of taking a picture like this, I would turn around and face the window to take a picture. And you're just gonna get such a better clear, nicer looking picture. So that's something that I want you guys to keep in mind, is just your pictures. That's what's going to stop people. A clear picture is going to make them, you know, oh, this is a cool picture. It's going to catch their eye, and they're going to want to read your post. Then I want to talk a little bit about editing pictures. This was something that, like, when I was looking back today to make this, like, I clearly, like, I don't know if these apps were out like 2 years ago. I'm sure they were. I just didn't know how to use them. So I actually made like a cheesy little tutorial on how to use my favorite one, but just write these down. Snapseed and Instabeauty, there are two that I use like every single day. Those are two of my favorites. There's a ton more. If there's one that you like, feel free to like share, but those are my two favorite. Something else that you want to do regarding your pictures is use a similar or the same filter for every single picture. And now this is kind of the same thing on Facebook. It's not as important, but on Instagram, the way that you see the grid, and I'm going to show you what I mean here in a second. You want all of your pictures to look similar. You want them all to have a similar vibe. You also want to like switch your pictures up. You don't want them all like here with your shaker cup, like in the same exact pose. You want to do different poses. And then you also don't want to put text on your images. And this was something that, this is what I was saying, I was like a bad offender of this one. I would put like quotes all over my pictures, and for a while like that was a thing, but now it's not. Now we want crisp, clear pictures that look professional, and having like pink and yellow writing all over them like this is like, it's not as eye-catching. People like, okay, reason 187 why I love being a Beachbody coach. Like, no one's gonna read my post because like the picture is not a good picture. This is from like 2 years ago. I literally like, they just came up on my time hop. So in regards to, hold on a second, I gotta go back. I want to like give a disclaimer. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do this, but I felt like it was gonna help show you guys something. I'm using someone not on our team. No one's gonna know her. It's some random girl who followed me on Instagram. And I want to use her Instagram feed as like a what not to do, but I don't want anyone to think that I'm making fun of her or anything. I'm showing you guys right here that like I made some of these mistakes too. I've just done a lot of training on Instagram and whatnot. So I know not to do them now, but I'm showing you I used to do this, and I don't want anyone to feel like I'm picking on someone for doing this. I just think it's easy to see what to do and then what not to do side by side so that you kind of get it. But I don't want anyone to think I'm like a mean girl or something. And I removed her name too. Okay, so I have 3 Instagram grids right here. I have my own, and then I have Megan Blinka's because I really, really like hers. She's always really consistent. So these 2 on the left, these are what I want you to look at first. Like, I really like bright, clear, like crisp pictures. So like I told you, most of my pictures are outside. Like this one is standing right in front of a window. This is standing right in front of a window too. Anytime I can take my pictures outside, I try to do that. This one, this little food picture is literally outside. Like I went outside just to take the picture and it made it so much more clear. The colors popped so much more. But you can see that I use filters on my photos that really bring out the color. Megan Blinka, she uses this like darker filter, which I'm colorful. Like I like colorful pictures, so that's what I use. But I also really like the look of Megan Blinka's Instagram. And I know exactly what app she uses. I'm gonna show you here in a minute. But I mean, it doesn't take a ton of extra time. I'm not telling you guys that you have to spend 30 minutes editing every picture. Honestly, it probably takes like 10 seconds, 30 seconds at the most. But you can just see that whenever you go to her Instagram, all of her pictures look the same. She has her vibe. She's branding herself really well. So that's why I used her as an example. And then this over here, and I'm not sure if you can like see it very well. Oh, darn it. Hold on. So this girl, she is doing an awesome job. Some of her pictures are really, really awesome. I wish that I could teach her how to edit some of them. Like, I don't know if you can really see up here. It might be too small, but this like pizza picture, I can tell that this pizza picture, like if she edited it using this app that I'm going to show you here in a second, like that would be such a good picture. You can also see here that she has like a couple of stock images on her, you know, she's posted a couple stock images on her Instagram, and it just doesn't look eye-catching. No one's going to stop and read those posts. Stuff like this, you know, is nice, clear pictures of yourself. People want to see you. They don't want to see Autumn. They don't relate to Autumn's six-pack. Like, come on, who relates to that? They want to see you. So does that make sense? And do you know that I'm not being a mean girl? Like, okay. Now, I made this little video that I hope works to show you how I edit my pictures, and then I'm going to kind of talk as it goes. I also am showing you the filter that I know for a fact Megan Blinka uses. Hold on. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Okay, can you guys see that better? Can you see my screen at all?
It's a blank white screen.
What about now?
No.
It's blank now?
Yeah, it's all white.
I'm going to share my screen again. What do you see now?
I see your tile. Like,
Okay, perfect. Okay.
but it's like the size of the slides that it was before.
Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is Snapseed, and I'm just showing you like how simple it is. Watch the image change and watch the colors get brighter there. So this is just me playing around with it, and I'm showing you that it literally takes like 30 seconds to use a certain filter, and I'll post in Alicia's team page exactly what I use, but I'm just showing you here. If you watch it as I go, this is what Megan Blinka uses, this thing right here. Here's this called Drama. So I'm just kind of showing you. This is called Healing. Does anyone else use Snapseed? Okay, I would definitely download that one. Like these little tiny marks on my coffee mug, I'm like erasing them. I know they don't look big on here, but on my phone, whenever I'm looking at it, there's just so much that you can do. And I know this is kind of small, so you can't really see it. For some reason, when I make the slideshow full screen, you guys can't see it. I don't know why. Okay, so that's that. I'm like done editing this picture and it took like 30 seconds. So I'm not telling you guys to spend a ton of time on it. I'm just telling you guys that it makes an absolutely huge, huge, huge difference. So I just really, really recommend taking the time to do that, to make your pictures a little bit better. So I mentioned a little bit like the differences between Facebook and Instagram. And like I said, Facebook is a lot more forgiving in terms of pictures. Facebook also, like, I don't know, for whatever reason, over the past few months, Facebook has kind of changed. Their algorithms have changed. We know that for a fact. Facebook now is really, really big on interactive things. So if you can get a lot of comments, a lot of conversations going on your posts, that's where it's at. That's what's going to get you in people's news feeds. Facebook also is really big on like family stuff. So there's sometimes where I post things to Facebook that I don't post to Instagram, and vice versa. I try to post a lot more like family pictures of like me and Chris over on Facebook. If it's not like the perfect, most clear picture, it doesn't matter as much on Facebook, but I try to save like my best of the best and work a little bit harder on my Instagram stuff, just because of the way the grid is. You want your stuff to catch people's eyes. Does that make sense? Okay, good. I just wanted to chat a tiny bit more about Instagram, just because I know like everyone's working so hard on Instagram right now. I recently have done a ton of research on hashtags. So there is something that can happen to your post. It's called shadow banning. If you want to look it up and do some research on your own, I really recommend you doing that. But what can happen is if you use too many hashtags, or even if you use certain hashtags, really, really high traffic hashtags that have like over 100,000 usages on them. So you know how whenever you type in a hashtag on Instagram, it shows you how many people have used that. If the number is astronomical, like 1 million, don't use that hashtag, because it is going to end up getting you shadow banned and no one is going to see your post. I realized a couple of weeks ago that my Instagram engagement was like really, really down. Like I was used to getting a lot more likes than I was, and I was confused because it was posts like of my dog that, like, you know, always get a lot of likes. So I found this website, and I'll post this in the team page too so that you can look at it. But what you do, you click on this link and then you put in your Instagram name, and it overviews, I think it's your last 10 Instagram posts, and it tells you if you're being shadow banned. So what I want you to do is look at that, see if any of your posts have been shadow banned, and look at the hashtags, figure out why, and just do a little bit of research on hashtags. Right now I'm trying to hashtag a lot of like brands, like if I'm wearing like Nike shoes or something, if I'm wearing like Fabletics pants, I'll hashtag those instead of hashtags like 80-day obsession or hashtag coach life or hashtag beachbody coach. One, it's going to get you shadow banned. Two, who do you think is like looking up those hashtags? Other coaches. No one that's a potential customer for you is using hashtags like 80-day obsession. Does that make sense? We don't want to attract other coaches. I mean, it's awesome to have other coach friends, but like, we've got each other, right? Like, no, I'm kidding. But you know, you don't want to be attracting coaches. You want to be attracting potential customers. I think that's all that I have, which makes me glad because we then have a little bit of time to just talk about any of this stuff. And like, if you guys have like questions on like pictures or lighting or whatever. Let me look at the chat bar and see if there's anything. Sierra, you use Snapseed too. Yeah, I love it. So what I use on Snapseed, hold on. Okay, here's a lighting thing. Right now, this is dead, but I wanted you guys to be able to see me. This room's really dark. So look at me now. I have my phone flashlight turned on so that you can see me. So like, I don't have anything like fancy. I just know that I need to have a light shining towards my face when I'm trying to get something good as far as like a crystal clear image. So on Snapseed, what I use, Snapseed on my phone, Stacy. And I, instead of going under tools for the thing that I use, I go to looks and then I click, I use the thing called Pop. That's what I use most of the time. Sometimes I also use under tools, it's called HDR Skate. So those are my favorite. But honestly, I say just like play around and see what you like. Like I showed you, you know, Megan's looks like way different than mine. Hers is a little darker, but it's still something that, I don't know, it's what she likes. So, and I like it too. I like am a colorful person. So that's what I like to use. No one has any questions? Hashtag comments just helped me realize. Yeah, Sierra just said the hashtag comments just helped me realize why I have been mainly having coaches follow me using the 80-day obsession hashtag. Yeah. And I used to do that too. I mean, I think that it's the right thing to do, but if you think about it, the only people searching those hashtags, you know, are coaches. Every once in a while, you might get a customer who just, you know, signed up with BOD online and you end up finding them. But one, you're going to get shadow banned, and two, you're just talking to other coaches. Alicia, do you have anything else you want to say? Or does anyone have anything they want to say? So do you need Wi-Fi to show your face? Sierra, you might. I don't know. I don't have a Wi-Fi problem. We'll have to get that figured out for you. I'll brag on Sierra and take 2 seconds to give a plug to Summit really quick. Who else is going to Summit? I don't know if you guys know. I know there's a couple of like newer coaches on here, so this is maybe good to talk about. If you hit Success Club your first 3 months as a coach, or it can technically be your second, third, and fourth month as a coach, you earn a free ticket to Summit. So Sierra, I just got an email today. She is a Success Starter month 1. So when, I was almost said if she hits, but when she hits Success Club this month and next month, she'll get her free ticket to Summit next year. I'm going to give her a little shout out. Alrighty, well, I like this 30 minutes. I'm glad it didn't take too long, but I hope that it helped. And I, again, just want to say, like, these are things that everybody messes up on. Like, we're all learning here. In a year or two, we might, like, watch this training again and laugh at the things that I told you to do. So, you know, the world of social media is always, always, always changing. So, don't beat yourself up about it if you're like, oh crap, I just did that today. Who cares? It's all good. Alrighty, guys. I will post this recording, and I got a couple links I know to share with you that I said I would. So I will do that now. Bye, guys.